Builder of the modern India. Members of Constituent Assembly of India. Raghu Vira. Raghu Vira was an Indian linguist, scholar, prominent politician, and member of the Constituent Assembly. He was one of the editors of the critical edition of the Mahabharata, which was compiled at the Bhandarkar Oriental Research Institute, Pune. More specifically, he was the editor of the fourth book of the Mahabharata, that is the Virata Parvan. He was a Hindu nationalist and served as Jana Sangh's president. His son is scholar Lokesh Chandra. Raghu Vira was born in Rawalpindi, West Punjab on 30th December 1902. After gaining an MA from Punjab University, he received a PhD from London and D.Litt from Leiden, Netherlands. He was in close touch with most of the Indologists of Europe during and after his three visits there. His early center of work after his three study trips to Europe was Lahore, where he became head of the Sanskrit department of the Sanatana Dharam College. At that time, his reputation as head of the department of Sanskrit of SD College was great. He was offered principalship of the college under the condition that he would not take part in politics. He turned down the offer. He was elected first to the Constituent Assembly in 1948 and then to the Rajya Sabha in 1952 and 1957. He left the party in 1961 because of differences with Jawaharlal Nehru over the China policy. His contribution to parliamentary and inner party debates with insight knowledge of China and Southeast Asia was unique. He pleaded for a large anti China, anti communist front with the Buddhist countries of Southeast Asia. After his return from a 3 month cultural research tour of China in 1956, he told Nehru that China, as a once cultural brother of India, was dead and that it was now a expansionist, materialist country. He had many skirmishes with Nehru in party meetings and ultimately resigned in December 1960 when the Chinese danger loomed large as the government of India just watched aimlessly. Soon after his resignation, he was invited to the Janasangh and joined it as the only major party close to his views with a strong network of cadres. His life ended in a car accident near Kanpur when, a Janasangh president, he was going to do election propaganda work for his socialist friend Ram Manohar Lohiya's by-election in the Farrukhabad Lok Sabha constituency in UP in May 1963. Raghu Vira was a linguist and nationalist. He tried to organize Indian leaders against the imperialist monopoly of English. He had mastered many languages including Hindi, Sanskrit, Persian, Arabic, English, Urdu, Bengali, Marathi, Tamil, Telugu, and Punjabi. He coined some 1.5 lakh scientific and parliamentary terms with Sanskrit as the common base, just like Latin is for European languages. His Greater English Hindi Dictionary remains his fundamental contribution to the cause of Indian languages. He was in touch with leading Tamil and Telugu scholars too for his research work. Apart from his work of creating for Hindi a scientific, technical, and legal vocabulary based upon Sanskrit, his reputation as a scholar will rest mainly on many editions of ancient Sanskrit texts, either his own direct work or inspired by him. Raghuveera aimed to re-establish India as Jagat Guru by researching, excavating and collecting an estimated 3 lakh Sanskrit manuscripts spread worldwide as the relics of the glorious work of the Hindu and Buddhist missionaries as cultural colonizers of Mongolia, China, Central Asia, Southeast Asia and Indonesia. An account of his travel to Dhanuang is provided by his son Lokesh Chandra. My father, Professor Raghuveera, was a great friend and admirer of Oriel Steen, from whom he had heard personal experiences of his expeditions to Central Asia. The Danhuang caves left a deep impression on my father's mind. In 1955, he was invited to China for a study trip and stayed there from 23rd April to 25th July. On May 15th, Premier Zhou Enlai received him and they discussed Dunhuang and the visit of the 7th century Chinese monk Zhuanzhang en route to India. Their conversation is recorded in detail in my father's account of his China trip on 27th May with 29 other members of the expedition. My father and his daughter Sudarshana Devi left for Dhanwang. The expedition included doctors, nurses, photographers, cooks, car mechanics, scholars from Peking University and the Academy of Sciences, archaeologists, and a female companion for Sudarshana. The director of the Zhanuang Institute, Professor Chang, joined them on 28th May in Lanzhou. My father records the cold as unbearable, a jolting journey in a convoy plane, and the bone racking Polish car M20 crossing the vast desert. They arrived at Zhanuang on 30th May. The next day, my father visited a number of caves and the 26 stupas of the five dynasties. Inside one stupa were statues and an earthen lamp of Indian design. He then started visiting the caves, keeping a detailed record. As a result of his visit to these countries, huge numbers of relics and manuscripts were collected. These impressed leaders like Pandit Nehru, Chou Lai, and Dr. Sukarno, who extended personal encouragement and appreciation to him for excavatory missions in search of Indian artifacts and manuscripts in those countries. When he came back from China after a 3 month tour in 1956, he had a baggage of 300 wooden boxes with him containing rarest of finds, antiques, and manuscripts bearing on the deep cultural contacts between China and India.